Welcome to the Orchid Advisors Compliance Training Series, Employing Personnel or Third Parties. Hiring or contracting with qualified individuals is subject to additional considerations when operating in a regulated environment. Drug testing and background checks are typical not only for employees, but also for employees of third-party vendors who are responsible for handling firearms. Human Resources is responsible for maintaining the employee master file, while Procurement and Compliance must work in tandem to maintain the vendor master files. In addition, the employee master files are utilized to track training and other compliance-related requirements. Common personnel controls include the following. Human Resources will not hire or contract into roles which involve firearms those who by law are not capable of possessing a firearm. The following is a summary of such restrictions. Under indictment for a felony, where the punishment could have been imprisonment for a term of more than 1 year. Fugitive from justice. Unlawful drug user or drug addict. Adjudicated mentally defective or involuntarily committed to a mental institution. Dishonorably discharged from the military. Subject to a restraining order involving their child, an intimate partner, or child of such partner. For example, domestic violence restraining order. Convicted of a crime. Renounce their U.S. citizenship. Alien, illegally or unlawfully in the U.S. Company personnel shall be subject to a background and drug check capable of meeting regulatory expectations. To the extent that state and local laws permit, the background check should extend the entire lifespan of the individual and in all counties lived. To the extent laws permit, recurring background checks and drug tests should be performed on employees who handle firearms on your behalf. If laws do not permit recurring checks, then an employee certification process is recommended. It's in the company's and employees' best interest to make sure they are licensed in the state in which they possess firearms. Presentation of the company's FFL does not qualify as being licensed to carry. Document in the employment file all training received. The employee should receive thorough training on compliance prior to starting and continued training on the recurring basis. When an employee is terminated, facility access should be rescinded. Temporary assignments should be reviewed prior to dismissal of an employee in order to obtain any firearms assigned to the employee. If firearms are unaccounted for, a theft or loss report must be completed, amongst other considerations. The vendor master file is the responsibility of the Procurement Department, with sign-off required by compliance with regards to sourcing ATF-controlled product. Purchasing compliance considerations. Procurement compliance should adhere to standard practices to increase the likelihood of repeatable compliance. Prior to choosing a new source, remember that an ATF variance may be required if the source serializes the product or performs a manufacturing process on the company's behalf. Any third party hired or retained by the company who may come in contact with or transport firearms can be subject to an ATF-compliant background check. It is recommended that vendors not be made available for use until compliance evaluates the adequacy of such checks. During the sourcing process, procurement should evaluate the various elements of compliance and include the right to audit these processes in contracts. Thank you for watching this segment of our video training series. Viewers are encouraged to seek professional advice prior to assessment, implementation, or execution.